So on my way into Northfield, just a gloomy day. I hate these days so much. And then I forgot my iPad, so I got to wait till later on to do my videos, which only annoys me even more. I guess I could charge Holly's phone and use that. I could do that. Anyway, I just hate these days. So I was on my way in and everybody's like, are we going to train? Are we going to jog? It's a little misty. I said they're not missing any days. In fact, don't worry about me. You guys go out with the first set without me. How's that? That way everybody gets trained and nobody is held up. So that's exactly what is going on right now. They already went. They are going first trip right now with the horses, which is fine with me. The reason I was a little slow today, I answered a number of emails about Foxy Seaside. My apologies. I gave you guys a pretty in-depth video yesterday, right up until last night on the way home, and forgot to talk about Foxy because she had made a break, right? Now, I'll be honest, I missed the qualifier running around training horses at the Meadows yesterday. I missed the qualifier, and I didn't realize she'd made a break until one of my partners had said, what about Foxy's break? Everything okay there? Yeah, I think for those of you watching, you knew what had happened, right? Here's a filly that had a penchant to make breaks last year. If she was bottled up, you had to watch her very, very closely. Now, different horse this year, but still not push button. And Billy was in a position where he was running over the horse in front of him. He could have maybe squeezed his way out to the right, but as the horse in front of him was kind of drifting a little bit, he thought he'd go back left. And the problem with going back left was now you got her twisted around as she's trying to accelerate. She probably hit herself and made a little bit of a break. In the bigger scheme of things, not a big deal. I did opt. They had one class going. I opted to race country dancing, and I'll explain why in a few minutes. Rather than Foxy, I said if they split the class, fine. If they don't, we'll just requalify her. To me, it wasn't a big deal, and I certainly didn't expect her to get in with James's good filly from last year and then not be able to qualify her. Billy go with her and her make a break. That was worst case on 2 points. She'll be in next week. So I guess I should explain that. The rules in Ontario are a little bit different here and then in Pennsylvania. It's a 60-day qualifying rule, which I applaud. I think it should be 90 days or not even qualifying. But 60 days is, I think, the longest in racing in North America. It's 45 in Pennsylvania. It might even be 30 now in Ohio, but it might still be 45. I'm not sure. Either way, it's 60 in Ontario. And further to that, if you make a break while eligible off a qualifier, you're eligible to continue to race. I didn't know at the time. I wasn't positive if you could make a break in a qualifier and still be eligible to race, but it appears that you are. So she will race next Friday. My apologies for not having the update. I should have done that. Now, had a pretty decent afternoon. A few little hiccups. She had the broken hobble strap of Spitfire. The only thing that kept me from completely boiling over was knowing that he can only win that class once. He will win it next week and can move up to the backup class after that rather than jumping forward. And now we have... I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I'm being a little presumptuous, but I believe at some point in the near future we're going to have Spitfire and Looks Like Money both fitting the Open. The good news is Scioto Downs opens on May the 8th, which will give us an opportunity to rectify that as we go along. So I was a little angry over that. I guess a little greedy that I got beat with Looks Like Money, but quite frankly, he was just a tiny bit short, being off 3 weeks, and 53-3 off 3 weeks is nothing to sneeze at. He raced well, and I wasn't positive that West Lamar, I didn't put him at 1-5, I can tell you that. There's some horses in there that looked okay. Ronnie's horse made 108 last year and was coming back. There was some horses that looked all right, and I really didn't know what to think of Maury yesterday, and I was so pleased to see him go out and race the way he did. Thoroughly pleased, and very, very happy about 3 Point Blue Chip also. Night and day. Not interfering, not hitting, and you can see him also almost off 3 weeks. He's not the horse. You can train Looks Like Money up tight and have him remotely tight, but you can't train up 3 Point Blue Chip the same way. He's just not accommodating in that regard. So I thought everybody raced pretty good. Westland Warrior was up for sale, win, lose, or draw yesterday. Scoped a little bit sick, but nevertheless, he's just not going to be a stake horse. And it's the frustrating part when you're training down a horse and you know he has the tools to be a sire stake horse, and then come to find out that he's barely even or not even a Stallion Series colt. It's really deflating and really angering. And you guys can tell by the way I talk about Westland Warrior. It's just an underachiever, but he'll make somebody happy. When you buy a horse only wanting them, it'd be like Vehement. We bought Vehement for next to nothing. Now, had he raced every week consistently, getting in consistently would have been tickled pink, but it was kind of a frustrating time we couldn't get him in. But what we paid for him, happy with the way he's racing. The people before us paid $3.25 for him, not so happy. And that's the same situation with Westland Warrior. Somebody's going to buy Westland Warrior for, probably a bargain price, and they're going to be super happy. Oh, new security guards. It's all right. There you go, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. New security. And somebody's going to be happy because he's going to be able to leave, sit, follow, and be a good little non-winners of 2, non-winners of 3 horse somewhere. But he's not what I know he could be, and he's not what we need him to be, so he's going to leave. Memory and Imagination, I told you guys in a video the other day, there's just too many horses for that class. And the problem with Memory is, in this area, right, there's not a whole lot for him at Northfield Park. The Meadows class goes once in a while. It doesn't fill all the time. That non-winners of 10, they used to make it 12. It used to fill every week religiously. And now over the last 6, 7, 8 months, it's sporadically and it's combined with other classes. And then you look at Scioto, great class that he's in. Problem is we have 2 other horses for it. One named Mounts for All, who I'm a little surprised, but I truly believe he's the better of the 2 right now. So when I have a horse that can't get in every week, and when I have a horse that can't get in every week, and not a ton of classes in this area for him, it's a horse that maybe we got to look at moving. Wouldn't be my first pick overall if you were just numbering the horses 1 through whatever in our barn. He would not be my first pick. This is Amy calling me. Why is my wife calling me? 1 sec. Hey, where's Amy at? I don't know why she keeps calling me. I'm just doing a video, honey. What's up?
Okay. We were in. Everybody ran except for 2.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because she's too grabby.
Did you have the cord on her?
No.
Why?
Putting anything on her.
I'm not you, and you know you should have the cord on her. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
She was fine after. I caught back up and finished third.
Okay. Who else was not perfect?
Jolene Run didn't even make it in the warm-up lap.
Yeah, she's going again, so you can tell them not to strip her.
I did. And Love Sensation, you run, right?
Yeah, I don't think them flip-flops were open any better that track is.
Well, she's going to have to race in flip-flops.
Who?
Just slipping up front.
All right.
And
Okay.
who else runs? Oh, Johnny Run, really, like where you, like it was at the head of the stretch.
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
right, I'll be in the Heat Emerald
Emerald
Tom.
Tom?
I'll be in a minute. I love the guys that they give feedback because it's helpful, but when the horses are going in 225, it doesn't matter if they have flip-flops on or barefoot or full swedges. On the track for a horse that's gone every week with flip-flops on it. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's going to be one of those days. The track is a little sticky, a little muddy, and I would say that most of the humans and most of the horses are not going to have a ton of fun today training. But you know what? It's training, and that's the way it is. So, what do we got here? Is this thing not going to turn on? Or what are we doing? That's a little frustrating. So where were we? We were talking about the training and the racing. So Foxy Seaside makes a break. All the horses raced well yesterday. The horses were selling Westland Warrior. Memory and Imagination were selling Memory simply because his paths in this area are narrowing, and we have horses that fit them also. So when I look at Mounts for All, he has 6 wins, right? And he had time off last year where he didn't get to be his best because he injured himself. Now he's starting to come forward. Well, Memory and Imagination, raced against Carl as a 2-year-old, won the Constellation at 3. We've seen his best work to date, and he's going to make somebody a very, very nice horse. But when it comes down to it, it has to be where we can race them, right? It isn't about racing the best horse or the fastest horse. It's about having the right horse for the right class, and that's why Memory and Imagination will be up for sale. Following them will be Country Dancing, and the reality is it's the tail end of sale of breeding season, so I don't imagine anybody's going to buy her just a breeder, but they might buy her with the hopes of racing her and breeding her. There's nothing wrong with the filly. She pays 54 last quarter and 27 in a piece last night. She went in 53 as a 2-year-old. She's out of a sister to Sintra. She's a $60,000 or $70,000 yearling. She's a nice filly. Just I expected so much more of her as a 3-year-old, and she's just going to be an overnight filly. She might race in the Pennsylvania Sires at somewhere, the Consolation or the Stallion Series down the road. But from where I sit, not the filly I thought she'd be at 3, but still lots of upside with her. Just for us, when I look at it, racing her just at Mohawk again, we've narrowed our paths, and I just don't like that feeling. I don't like the feeling of flexibility, inflexibility, I guess, when it comes to the horses. So that is what's going on right now with the sales. You'll see Country Dancing pop up. You'll see Country Dancing pop up for sale today, probably on gate closing on Monday. So if you're out there looking for a very well-bred Poppy Rob Hanover filly, there'll be one posted today. What else do we got going on? Now, last night, Gaslight Hall put in an odd but one of the most impressive performances for a young sophomore that I've seen in a while, for a horse that really questions surrounded him. Are his knees going to be good? Is he going to stay sound? How is he going to be trotting? Is he good enough? What is he? And then I hear from James last night that say he told me he thought the Gaslight was actually better than Chicago. Now I know James hates when a horse squanders that two hole. Gaslight Hall is handy, quick on his feet. Chicago Hall is like a big plotter, right? And he doesn't do what James wants him to do. He doesn't race the way James wants him to race. So James doesn't love the horse. And quite frankly, I think that Gaslight Hall is a nice colt, but I think Chicago Hall is the better of the two of them. And at the end of the day, I don't care. They're two very, very nice horses. I will say this. You're not going to see Chicago Hall come 26 seconds on the end of any mile. I can assure you of that. That was a very, very impressive flash of speed. 55 flat on the end of it last quarter and 26-1. And when I look at it, this is a horse that just made a break going into the first turn. He didn't get a perfect trip and just scoot by them. He didn't have an enormous tailwind. James said, yeah, there was a little tailwind, but the track is good, and the horse was awesome. He said he just made a mistake. Which is fine, and I think it's a fair representation of what the horse did and what the horse is. I like Gaslight Hall. And I like Chicago Hall, and I think we're going to have fun with both of them all year long. But man, to make a break and then trot the way he did on the end of it. Now, James also said that he thought that the getting set back for what took place was a little silly, which I only watched it once. Once I saw that the inquiry was up for a long time, I just turned it off. I knew it was about to happen. He thought that he didn't interfere with anybody when he made a break, and maybe he's right. I don't know. But nevertheless, he'll be back in the Nalmars 2 next week. But man, what an impressive flash of speed that horse had last night. And then Chicago Hall racing later on. I know we had 2 more horses. Well, I just thought of the other 2 horses. Oh, Texong Soprano was one. He raced good. His blood hasn't been perfect. Hasn't been perfect at all. And Megan was pretty vocal about that. I told you guys in the video yesterday. It's on the move. Positively, it's moving forward, but it still isn't perfect. So she's working on it, and clearly the horse raced pretty good last night. Whacked out the mile, finished 3rd and 55. I certainly wasn't disappointed with Texong Soprano. Chicago Hall finishing 3rd. It looked like he should have been a winner, at least a hard-fought 2nd. But that's not him. He's fast, he's quick, he's got that big, strong body, but he doesn't nearly have, obvious from what I can see anyway. I guess in that regard, James is right. That kind of eye of the tiger that Gaslight has. But the thing about Chicago is he can leave, carry his speed, and it's pretty good. He was off 2 weeks last night, too. And I know that Dominic had trained him in 2:15 or 2:13 in the jog cart. That's not like training, nor does he have to. Stake season is coming. There's a lot of stuff ahead for both those colts. And there was no need to have him drilled right into the ground last night. Finishing 3rd was disappointing from James's standpoint, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to have, as I told him, I said he will take a mark of 53, 54. There's no two ways about that. And I know he may not think he's a sire stake horse, but that's where I think we differ in our opinion. I think he absolutely is. So those were the 3. We did have one more. I'm just trying to think of who it is. It was Country Dancing, right, finishing 6th. And she kind of sealed her fate and in regards to where she sits, what her employment status is at the stable. So that's what took place last night. As I said, gloomy, spitting day out. Not raining, but raining enough to annoy you. We're going to go with all the other babies right now. Just a slow day. Amy and I will do, I'm going to get Amy to do all the videos with me this afternoon. All the videos. We're going to have a good discussion about all the horses, where they sit, what we think of them, how they've been racing. I know she was thoroughly pleased with Memento Mori yesterday, as I was also. Really happy with the way some of the sophomores are coming back. We've had a few surprises. Some horses did not come back the way that we wanted them to. Some horses have let us down a little bit, but there has been some real strong racing out of our sophomores this year, and I expect that will only get better as the summer goes on. So excited about the rookies. Not really excited about training them in the mud today, but excited about the rookies that are on their way to the track. Excited about the 3-year-olds that are here. As I said to you, I see a change now on gate. I don't see it in preferred today, but I see a change on gate where some of the horses are starting to come forward that look a little more interesting to us. I did bid on a couple last week. They were a little hard. They were a little stronger, the prices, than I thought, which is good for us selling horses this week, hopefully. But as more of those types of horses hit the market, I think we'll have some fair market purchases over the next week or two. So that's an update for this morning, Saturday morning. Decent yesterday. I was super excited about yesterday. Very happy with the way most everybody raced, and excited about today. We got a lot of horses racing today. I only got one today, and that's right here, Rosemary Alexander in race number 3. So good luck to all my partners today, tomorrow, the rest of the weekend. I will talk to you all very, very soon. We'll start doing your videos this afternoon. Take care.